It's a beautiful day in SKA'ling's Hollow. Take a little trip, would you like to follow? Yeah. It's a beautiful day in Brass Bay. Slip on your checkers and we'll play. Yeah. And if you don't agree with our point of view, that's okay. We still love you.
Welcome, rude boys and rude girls, and not to forget all you rude NBs. Welcome to SKA'ling's Hollow. I'm your host, Gray Scott Todd, where I will be teaching you ska-servative values. I would like to teach you the cool ins and outs of the mystical music scene known as ska.
We were strangers and we were pilgrims, role models of the family man.
What is it? Where did it come from? Why do they dress like that? All of this with the hopes of preparing you for the eventual fourth wave.
Fourth wave?
Hot pipin', how's it vibin'?
Well, it's going great, Grayson. But I couldn't help but overhear the potential of a fourth wave. Isn't that what we don't want?
Pipin', we're not talking about that kind of fourth wave. We're talking about the musical kind of fourth wave.
I love music. I just got back from a Ganesh concert. I feel everything.
I'm glad you're in the mood for music because I was just telling the kids about ska.
Gah.
I am happy to tell you ska-servative values to keep you and your family safe.
I don't have a family. You lost my brother in the dryer, you asshole.
Okay, well, let's not dwell on the past, Pipin. Except, let's dwell on the past, because it's time for Hiskossery. Hiskossery.
Tell me about these waves. I ain't been to the beach. You think I don't know about waves?
A wave here refers to a movement of music, a trend, a time period where the genre was defined by a certain style or a certain aesthetic. And then the wave ends when the new generation, the new regime takes over as the dominating sound.
So you would say it's kind of like a phase?
Oh, Pipin. I think we both know at this point it's a little more than a phase. To find the origins of ska, one must travel all the way back to the 1950s to the tropical Caribbean paradise island of Jamaica.
Jamaica? Are they more so known for reggae?
Yes, Jamaicans' main export of a musical genre may be reggae today, but the very fabric of reggae itself is rooted deep within the origins of ska.
So you could say these genres really build on top of one another.
That's a pretty good way to put it. Piping, you're breaking the illusion. Jamaica is a Caribbean island previously under the control of the United Kingdom. And it was during World War II where Americans used the Caribbean and Jamaica as a base. And it was actually there that the Jamaican Islanders were able to purchase American radios.
Are you just gonna use me for jokes?
You're more of a prop to me, a segue in between talking points, and not necessarily a full-fledged friend.
That's fair. I know I'm inanimate.
Due to the short range throw of radio stations, Jamaicans mainly had access to southern Louisiana, New Orleans stations, which brought in a lot of rhythm and blues that was playing through the South at that time.
I know about the blues. I got the blues. I got the soul of a black sock.
Pipin'.
What?
That joke was a little off-colored. Now, since Jamaica doesn't really honor copyright laws, this gave way for just anyone to readapt and reinterpret any song they wanted. Just a touch of Caribbean, a little calypso music to give it that island local flavoring. Now you have genres that seem worlds apart coming together to create something I think we can all enjoy.
Get up in the morning, slaving for bread, sir, so that every mouth can be fed.
Grayson,
Yes, Pipin.
ska is deeply rooted to people of color. Then why are the only people who seem to care about ska are middle-aged white boys with lamb chops?
Well, we'll get into the aesthetics of ska on a later date. What's important here is that shows the growth of the music, how it can reach and hit different people of different backgrounds because the music itself is just that strong. While I believe that the elements of the genre that we know today are thoroughly explored and present in the original incarnation, here are just some elements that have maintained as a staple throughout the history of ska. Up-picking triplets on the offbeat. Leads made up of horns.
Freedom!
With the piano and bass walking through a 4/4 time signature. Now, I'm no musical nerd in the technical sense. I'm more of a poetic artist in that I feel the emotions and I interpret it with my head, but I don't really actually understand what I'm playing.
So you're a hack?
I think that's another word for it, Pipin. The point is that even I, a poor simpleton,
And I, as fucking suck!
can see the parallels within the genre from its origins to its modern day interpretations. And all of that is thanks to imperialism. Oh, what's the matter, Pipin? You don't like imperialism?
Imperialism is evil. It contributes to the genocide of native people in indigenous lands.
When dissecting history, it is almost impossible to overlook the contributions that colonialism, slavery, and all imperialism brings to the nations that they influence. One must understand the struggles behind the emotions to understand how to apply the emotions to yourself. Fuck, I could do a whole history lesson just on the song Buffalo Soldier.
Yeah, I liked when they used it in South Park.
Buffalo Soldier!
Yeah, while they were bouncing on their balls. Fun South Park. Always a good time. Ska has a unique ability of taking all that weight, all that pain, all that suffering, all that oppression, and putting it to an uppick, a tune that makes it feel cathartic, like an energetic release of energy after just being pushed down. Take the earliest ska song from Freedom Sounds of the Scatolites. To Forward March by Derek Morgan. These songs are pure celebrations of the joy of freedom, a theme that will carry over.
Can we get on to that second wave now?
All this to say that imperialism is the reason the British were in Jamaica. The 1970s saw Brits re-recording these Jamaican ska hits. British interpretations of Jamaican interpretations of jazz and blues, which I believe is the best way to keep music moving, to keep music evolving.
And what did these honkies do to our music genre?
How did this island become the leader in ska? Well, most of the credit can be given to Jerry Dammer of The Specials and his record label, Two Tone. In contrast to its Jamaican counterparts, it's faster, more aggressive, more energetic, and plays harder. On May 1st, 2021, during a Rolling Stone interview, Glenn Danzig of Misfits fame stated, "You could never have the punk explosion nowadays because of cancel culture and woke bullshit."
That seems like a very dumb and ignorant statement for him to say.
Give old Danzig a slight break. He doesn't leave the house a lot. And the Misfits may not actually be ska. I would consider them more so punk. But punk has always been ska's hornless, dirtier cousin. I do, however, fundamentally disagree with Mother Danzig. Punk, ska, reggae. At the course, these genres have always been woke. They've been the wokest safe haven since the start of time. Fucking speakeasies, underground jazz swing clubs. Ska has always been a genre for the people. Because when there's nothing else in the world, where there's no one that understands you, that gets you, that can make you feel like you're not isolated on this fucking planet, the one place you could always go to is a music venue.
Your mom ran out selling for those who never get the chance. You show up to the party, they never ask to dance. All the losers, the liars, the bastards, the thieves, the citizens, the passengers, those don't believe in nothing.
A body made of hundreds of individuals sweating and pounding over the joys of life. The feeling can lift you above the crowd and above the negativity that brings you down. It's this aspect that I believe truly defines ska through each wave, through each incarnation, from the most underground bands to the poppiest radio-friendly hits.
Hey, Grace,
Yeah, piping?
you know what this is a good time for?
What would that be?
It's time for Brain Scott Top Scott Ethics and Value!
I set out a mission when I started writing this episode, and that was to teach ska-servative values. That'd be so embarrassing if I don't know, did some sort of one-woman stage show with a sock puppet where I talk about political shit and then don't actually represent the things I'm talking about. I look like a fucking dumbass.
Yeah, you look like a fucking libtard.
Anyway, our first ska-servative value that I would like to imbue and teach all the children,
Teens!
13-year-olds and up, community.
Community? That sounds only like communism!
All the cool kids know you can still be an individual in a crowd. We are a body moving, flowing, but before the show, you can carefully pick out the perfect band t-shirt, one that says, "I know music, but I'm also pretty chill about it." And when that show is over, this collective group of people all spread out and go off into their separate lives. At that point, they leave as individuals who take that memory of connecting, that memory of coming together with them. It's a genre that invites you in with your flaws, with the things that make you different. And they say, we love you for that. Bring your individuality to the band, to the scene, so we can then come together and learn from one another. How the fuck do you think you're gonna find a bassist, two guitarists, a drummer, a trumpist, a trombonist, a saxophonist, a pianist, and a singer? How do you think you're gonna coordinate all of them if you didn't have some empathetic listening skills?
I've been people with a thick gun. I fought the law and the law won. I fought the law and the law won.
This brings us to Wave 3, the longest running and current Regardless on if or not we're still in the third wave, the truth is that the third wave has lasted longer than the first two ever did and gained more popularity than the first two ever could have.
Why is there so much confusion about this one?
Well, fundamentally, the state of ska today is still the same as it was in the 90s. There's yet to be that next great step, that next great evolution that brings in an influence and elevates the genre to a new height, leading it for the decades to come.
So I found a fucking champion and I grabbed it, pushed it down to the
Fundamentally, it's pretty similar to the two-tone era, except it's a little louder, a little brighter, and there's more of a focus on the pop-punk song chord structure.
Spin like a fan, just pushing air around again.
Well, I heard that some ska bands don't even have horns anymore. How's that okay?
Well, we're not gatekeepers here, Pipin, and I would thoroughly suggest that you stop gatekeeping too.
But I don't want losers to like the same thing I do.
Yes, you can be a ska band and not have a brass section. If you're unable to find that horn section, fear not, because plenty of bands have been able to find success without ever putting a horn line in their music. One of the most revered bands in the ska genre, and the one mostly accredited to the third wave, is Operation Ivy.
Black and white, get together, feel alright, unity. Black and white, get together, feel alright.
You also have bands like the Flatliners, Cobra Skulls. Ska is more of an emotion at this point. It's a blueprint in which you can take and build anything off of it that you could ever want, as long as one or two of the elements are still kind of prevalent. Most ska fans will give you a lot of leeway. Some ska is trashy, like Arrogant Sons of Bitches. You have the New Orleans style.
She's calling out, her voice rings so proud.
And plus, everything international that you could ever hope to hear. These are all interpretations and things that transform with whatever scene it's rooted in. If you're in a hardcore straight edge scene, then you're making hardcore straight edge ska. And many do define the third wave by the biggest hits. Your Mighty Mighty Bosstones, your Save Ferris, your Less Than Jake's, your Real Big Fish. And to me, that's kind of the vanilla of ska. Not to say that it's plain, but that it's more so the default, right? It's the most easily recognizable version of ska. Three and a half minutes of blaring horns, a catchy, kinetic chorus, and enough bright colors to make the Speed Racer film look muted. These bands typically try to drift away from political messages, opting more for romance, relationships, slice of life stories. Sometimes all it takes is just a band having a good time with what they're playing for me to enjoy them.
I have a confession to make.
What's that, Pipin?
I've never had to knock on wood, but I know someone who has. So what's that? What's the fourth wave gonna be like?
Who's to say? Who can predict it? We might be in the midst of another ska revival now. It's all incredibly exciting. What a time to be a ska fan. What we need to focus on and what we need to pay attention to. That this new fluctuation in interest in the genre should uphold the ethics and values started in the very roots of the genre. And I hope that I was able to teach you something as we went through our little history lesson.
What? We're not gonna do more bullshit? We're not gonna go do a skit? that's gonna drag on too long and restate everything you just said?
While I do appreciate sassiness and attitude, I also believe, like a good ska song, one should not overstay their welcome.
And what about me?
Well, Pipin', it's time for you to go.
No, my face! No! You fucking monster!
Oh, sweet relief, sweet relief. Holy Christ, my thumb. Thank you for watching this very weird video experience that I made for you. Please like, share, and subscribe if you want more ska-servative values. I'm Grayson Todd. Thank you for watching. Stay swazzy, stay posy, listen to some good shit, and learn how to fucking skank, ya bitch.